So I just want to tell you a little bit about the story of how I ended up doing the work that I do now. It's a little bit unusual, but as I think we've been hearing, most people's career journeys are quite unusual. I'm hoping this might inspire you to see a career path you maybe aren't considering now, but which might be right for you. It does come onto digital stuff, but it starts actually at the complete opposite. So my career, I think, really started when I was in primary school, and I started a newspaper, writing on an old manual typewriter like this, just with family news. And then I also started a currency for my siblings, and I also started a bank, for my siblings. I've got 6 brothers and sisters. I'm one of 7, so that was plenty of scope for starting things. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but I was discovering that I was an entrepreneur. And this word entrepreneur comes up a lot, but I didn't have a clue what it meant when I was in primary school, obviously. But that was actually the starting point of this journey. So I was born in the 80s, so I'm at this kind of unique juncture point where I remember the world before mobile phones and before computers and before the internet was ever really a big thing. I remember it very clearly, and I grew up in it. But I also was just at the right point to grow up with the rest of kind of from your kind of age up, really growing up with mobile phones and the internet, and so all of that just still feels quite normal. I remember when the first Apple Macs came into my school, and it was so exciting. They looked a little bit like this, and they were like, "This is cutting edge technology. Look at the size of that screen. It's about this big," and it was amazing. And so that I was interested in technology from an early age, but just like I was interested in lots of things. I loved reading books. I loved being outside. And so at school, I did okay, and I enjoyed learning, and I thought I'd give science a go because I loved finding out the answers to problems and figuring out how things worked. Really enjoyed that. So I applied to Stirling University, and I got in to study biology. But then I changed my mind before I'd even got there, and I actually thought, no, you know what, I'm not going to do biology, I want to do environmental geography. That sounds better. Because actually I just love being outside, and I wanted to be a nature reserve warden, was actually what I thought would be my ideal career. Just being outside all the time, looking after a nature reserve would be fantastic. I volunteered at a few of them. But then while I was at university studying environmental geography, it only took me 1 semester, which is just like a couple of months, to realise that I really enjoyed learning, but I didn't find science as interesting as I'd hoped. I wanted the freedom to explore new ideas, not just learn existing ones, and science seemed quite restrictive. And I discovered philosophy. I knew that there was no job at the end of this, and I did worry about that a little bit. I thought, I'm studying something here where I'm not going to have any job at the end of it, but I just enjoyed it so much, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do this. So I did an honours degree in philosophy and learned all about thinking, and I really, really enjoyed it. I still read philosophy today for pleasure. But after university is when I discovered code. I discovered websites, because one day I just thought, I don't know how websites work. I wonder how websites work. And so I discovered HTML code and CSS code and just basic level stuff for building websites. And it was really good fun. But what was even more fun is that I realized not that many people can do this stuff, because most people just aren't interested, or don't have the technical kind of way of thinking. So I realized that other people would pay me actual money to build them websites. And so that was my first moment where I thought, oh, I could make money doing this. So I set up a little business, a web design business, working from home, but I knew nothing about how to make a business work. Nothing at all. So it was a complete disaster. I didn't make any money really at all. And when a job came along in IT support, helping people with kind of IT problems in oil and gas companies it was, then I took that job and worked in that for 5 years. And while working in IT, I learned a lot of useful techie stuff, how to solve all sorts of problems, and how awful Windows is and how good Macs are. But I realized, you know what, I'm getting on okay here, but I am not a job person. I realized I was only going to really be happy if I was free to make my own way, making money by creating digital stuff and learning using technology to solve problems. That's what I really enjoyed. Those were the parts of the IT job that I liked. And I was not very good at other parts. Like I was put through Microsoft exams and failed every single one of them because I just didn't like that way of doing things. I wanted to be freer than that. And I thought that was a problem. I thought it was a bad thing. And so partly what I wanted the reason to tell you this story is that maybe if things are not going your way, it's not because you're not good at something. It's maybe just because you're a different sort of person than the way the system wants you to be. So I started another business, and this time I made even more mistakes, but I was also doing something different. I was reading books on business and getting in front of people who were way cleverer than me, and who were I spoke to various millionaires and just made a real effort to speak to people who did this stuff really well. And so I got a lot of good help and advice. And in the end, I quit my IT job, and for 4 years, I ran a digital marketing business full-time, employing a team of freelancers. It was called Grow Web Digital Marketing. We used digital technologies to help businesses to get more customers and make more money using social media, advertising on Google, websites, email marketing, all that sort of thing. But the story doesn't end there, because then I met some guys in CodeBase. I was based in CodeBase with GrowWeb, met some guys there who were starting this app called FixLife, which is a tool for the repair industry, helping repair companies manage jobs and communicate with customers. And I thought, this is a brilliant product. I really want to help with this. And about the same time, I got an offer for someone to buy my company. So I sold GrowWeb and I started with these guys, FixLife. But even in there, it kept moving, because I realized I still don't want to just do this one thing. I really enjoy it, but I want to do more things. So I also do some consulting. This is my little Rabby robot. He's my mascot. And I help businesses, mainly now I do consulting with businesses, helping them to take technology, and it's like, I call it like getting an army of robots to do the boring stuff in their businesses, automating processes and stuff like that. So I discovered that I'm not a natural employee. I like to have control over my time and how I get things done, and that's what consulting allows me to do. Some of the stuff that I do is still to do with marketing, and some of it is more to do with processes. One of my favorite things is taking old school ways of doing things where it's all paper-based, like where someone goes out to a customer and has to fill in a form on paper and then take it back to the office and scan it in and all that sort of stuff, really, which is now really quite an old way of doing things, and instead building technology so people can do stuff on their phones, and it's all digital and stuff happens automatically. But what I really love about my work is that it's all my choice. And I've just realised that that's not a bad thing. I'm allowed to think like that. That's how entrepreneurs think. I work on projects that I want to work on. I can be anywhere and work whatever times I like. I can be in CodeBase, enjoying the super fast internet there. I can be in a coffee shop. I can work from home. I can take time off in the day and just work in the evening. It doesn't really feel like work. I really enjoy solving new problems every day, and I'm really excited to get stuck in on Monday mornings. I don't have that Monday morning blues thing. And what I wish someone had told me when I was in S1, I genuinely wish someone had said this when I was in high school at any point, is that you can have a career that doesn't involve you going and asking someone to give you a job. So here I am telling you that. If you have the right skills, or you develop the right skills, then you can be a freelancer and work from home, or you could work from CodeBase's hot desking space, or you could travel the world and earn money at the same time. I know a few people who do that. They call themselves digital nomads, and they just travel and work, and it's really cool. Like me, maybe you could discover earlier than me that you're an entrepreneur. You could start something much bigger, where you employ people and where you make something really big and really cool. You guys are growing up in a world with so much opportunity, so much, and the digital world is a huge part of that. It's changing fast all the time, and that change means there's constantly new opportunities. So my advice to you would be that if you're interested in the digital world at all, get stuck in now. That would be my main advice to you. Get really good at any digital skill, and it'll take you anywhere you want to go. The hard work you do now, while it's quicker to learn and easier, and you've got all this opportunity, and you don't have to earn money with it, do the work now to get good at something, and it will just massively pay off in the future. So maybe something I've said has made some of you think, maybe this is the sign you've been looking for, that maybe you could have that different sort of career. Maybe one of you in this room will start the next Apple or the next Google. That's deadly serious. Some Scottish people have started massive billion-dollar companies. Any one of you could be one of those people. The world's full of opportunity, and the digital world is even more so. So I just would encourage you to make the most of that. And if you do, you'll really enjoy your working life. Thanks.